The first time I came across the label Twin Flames, I thought it was the most beautiful and unique way to express self-love. Back then it wasn't as popular. You research it today and it's everywhere. And what's changed is that it's been romanticized. But I do want to point out that those who have labelled themselves as twin flames is also either a light worker, a starseed, a Lemurian, an Arcturian, a warrior of light, a warrior of consciousness. You'll find that their purpose and their soul mission is to help raise the consciousness of humanity. In the spiritual aspect, the path to enlightenment associates with divine light, love, God, happiness, as with the path of illumination, which associates with becoming the master of self. Everybody was born original. We're all born unique. And so illumination means revealing your authenticity, stepping into your own power without the approval of anybody else's thoughts or opinions and someone that is in higher authority. A sole purpose of a radical self-expression is to freely express your thoughts and opinions without the influence of another's opinion that makes you question your own ideas and beliefs. Again, a lot of people confuse spirituality with Christianity, religion, and I can't express enough that it has nothing to do with religion at all. Going into spirituality and twin flames is open to interpretation, and I'm going to remove all labels and cultures and traditional beliefs because, again, as long as something has a label, society will always try to question it or debate it. Now, before I continue as well, I just want to talk about God and why I won't put any religious factors and cultures into perspective. Think about mythology and folklore and deities. Think about history. It does have a pattern which is somewhat repetitive. Each history, folklore, mythology going back decades associates with the destruction caused by war of man between good and evil for the claim of power. The energy of power is neutral. It is what one projects onto that power and the way one uses power that can ultimately build up or destroy. Our higher self, beyond mortal identity, is realizing that our I am presence is out of a higher being. And that is all the way to being our own creators. And so by saying that, it is by realizing that God is you and you are God. There is no God but the greater self that you are. Our consciousness is beyond form, and that is why we can transcend any form or any visualizations or any images of God and experience the totality of God. This is without the thought of power, without the thought of being higher than anyone else. Understanding again that this is an expansion in knowledge which has slowed down because of the rise of scientific materialism. We are the co-creators of our own reality, and once we begin to adjust the worldview to the reality that everything is consciousness, we then realize that the outer physical circumstances are simply the effects of the causes within our mind. Our ego has an insatiable need for security. One way we deal with this need is that we seek to define a belief system that we elevate to the status of being complete. Nothing can exist as a thing without having first existed as an idea. And so again, that brings me to the law of attraction. The law of attraction is just a term to explain how our thoughts co-create our own reality. Except society has turned it into something that sounds as though it's magic. For me to explain spirituality is like going back to childhood, returning back to innocence. There is a point to unrecruited love, and that leads to unconditional authenticity. Union doesn't happen without authenticity, and in order to be authentic, we have to be unconditional. And to provide an example, imagine yourself at a crossroad where there's two paths. Down one road, you'll find that everybody is following one another, but by choice, you don't want to follow that crowd anymore, and so what you do is you take the other path. This is the path where you find yourself alone, and it's dark, and all the shadows and the fears come out to play. It's you facing your own fears. And in order to step out of that darkness and becoming the warrior that you are, You need to silence your mind and listen to your heart, because realistically that's what we're doing. When our mind is trying to rationally and logically make sense of what's going on around us, it won't be able to find all of the answers. And so what happens there is that our ego awakens our self-inner critique that shouts out in our own mind, you're doing this wrong, this way is wrong, back there is wrong, why did you come this way? And what that does is it locks ourselves in fear. And so what this means is that we need to align our heart and our mind. And that is the key to letting go of any resistance, is just surrendering and allowing that path to take you where you need to go. And in the spiritual aspects and the terms and the labels, you'll read about the third dimension, which is this reality, and also ascending to the fourth and the fifth dimension. And what that means is it's about ascension, raising our vibration, raising our consciousness. It is also an evolution of human conditioning and transformation. Dimensions and dimensional lives are different in that they exist as realities for ascension. And so think of the entire universe as a single dimension, and within that reality, ascension is occurring. So in that journey alone, it is separation, which is for the purpose of purification, which can be done consciously in our mind, body and spirit, aligning all three once it removes all of the questions about the moral structure and approach and everything, which is the trap of the ego. And so the label of twin flames is all about morality, purpose, true love, union within you. Twin flame is you. The union is about balance within yourself of the feminine and the masculine energies and essence within you. The twin flame connection in the physical comes into our lives to shake us and transform us, to expose our vulnerabilities and our spiritual and moral weaknesses in order for us to fix ourselves to ascend even higher. Twin flames are here to teach humanity how life on this earth would be like outside of the illusions that we had taken for granted for such a long time, which is society's label of love. It's about authenticity, freedom and self-love for the individual, and oneness and compassion within the community. All of which becomes possible when our human ego has been transformed into a free spirit and the hearts have been open to unconditional love, which essentially leads to a complete absence of fear. And I'm pointing this out because I've read a lot about, people asking, how do I know this is my twin flame? My twin flame is married. Karmic relationships. So if I'm not a twin, does that make me less special than those out there who do have twin flames? The romantic fantasies are a distraction. Romance does exist, fairy tale dreams do exist, love does exist, and it does happen. But the attachment we have is the issue. Your twin flame is a reflection of your ultimate truth. But the pain is yours. The sadness is yours, the fault is yours, and it's caused by nobody else. Your thoughts, pain, sorrow, broken heart, ego, reactions, interpretations are all yours. And your twin flame has nothing to do with that. Which is why, again, I cannot logically explain this without putting the spiritual aspect into play. And so I'll begin by saying that the longing for our perfect mate is engraved within our DNA. We harbour a desire for restoration and unity, and we search for that peace within us that is always missing. It is our quest for wholeness in order for us to heal, and also for integration in the constant pursuit of the final point of balance, which is the 0 point where our matter meets our higher self. And this is the realm of duality, where matter meets antimatter. Twin flames were created in God, just like the universe was created by God. In the very moment of our own creation, as the original undivided soul, we were released from the pure source, which is the unmanifested universe or the earth or the world, and we had projected towards the universe that was created, being the manifested universe. We are all creations of the same cosmic mind. No matter what name you give to the Supreme Being, we are a fruit of source. Virtue is a state of mind. There is only virtue when disorder ends. Everything lives within and without at the same time. The universe will act as we act, and therefore, if we keep repeating cycles in the lack of self-worth, which is due to the sense of security being fragile, then what we can expect is a never-ending loop. Everything exists within you. This is projected outwards in the form of our own characteristics in our psyche and intellect: patience, power, courage. But as we do live in a world that is balanced, we also have the other end, which is hate, impatience, doubt. And so light workers, twin flames, warrior of consciousness, warrior of light, all of which exists inside of you. Something that goes above our consciousness and our logical and radical mind is your own evolutionary growth. It is a highly spiritual soul path, a mystic path, which is different from any other, and it is a higher path of love, which truly becomes an alchemical force. Love is one of the most highest vibrational frequencies, but so is fear, and fear is something that blinds us in believing that we are worthy of love, and also giving love and receiving love. The universe will always send us signs. And I can assure you, 2 years ago, I would not be seeing myself sitting here today talking about something such as twin flames or spirituality. But in my own journey, I have seen things that I never thought would be possible. And so the key aspects is to just have faith. Have faith in the universe, have faith in the divine, have faith in you. We live in a huge mechanism which works upon the imprints of our subconscious mind and our deepest hidden desires. But in order for our wishes to manifest, we must align them without doubting them. We weren't born into this world to be consumed by negativity, worthlessness. They're all traps of the ego. To have compassion, to be kind, to be grateful, to be thankful exists within us all. We all have empathy. To forgive others is by first forgiving yourself. You come first. And that is where the true union lies within us. That part of ourselves that has absolutely no room for ego. In this game called life, it is for us to realize the immensity of our inner powers and our responsibilities of controlling our thoughts and focus and emotions, and we show no mercy at all. And so life, live it, love it, learn, break, heal. It is a journey. You're all individually special and unique. People will always have their opinions, but always remember that nobody has the permission to make you feel as though you are unworthy. And I promise you that one day, maybe not today, not tomorrow, not next week, but one day, you'll wake up and say to yourself that you made it.